Okay. I'll do the introduction if you want, Jocelyn.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, cool. Ready. Okay, I'll do the introduction if you want, Jocelyn.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, cool.
Hey, wake up.
Welcome everybody. Week 2, series number 2. We've got Space Age Wizards versus Team 7 Dusk right now. And I'm Thunderdome, and with me today is Chaucer.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going, guys? We're jumping in right into Champ Select here. On the blue side, we have Team 7 Dusk, and on the red side, we have Space Age Wizards.
Alrighty, so right now we're seeing first ban Shen. He's become a lot more popular in these current weeks. After the updates, they gave him reduced cooldown reduction when he scales up his taunt.
Yeah, one small buff to him, and all of a sudden Shin was right back at that level of competitive play.
I love seeing that. He's one of my favorite champions, actually. And we're seeing a Gangplank ban. I'm honestly very surprised by that. Maybe they research one of their guys. Yeah. And
yes.
The Niddle. You got it.
Yeah, we're moving along here. Gangplank and Gragas banned out. The Gangplank ban, that's an interesting one.
And the Grog is one of the top tier junglers right now.
Changes, so no Ezreal ban as of yet. Oh, we see the Shin, the Nidalee, and Shyvana all go down, and Ryze rounds it out.
Yeah, definitely got to get rid of the pesky Ryze. He is quite overpowered right now. And we're seeing the Rek'Sai locked in. Gragas, Rek'Sai being the two strongest junglers right now. Taking that priority pick first.
Team 7. Not a bad strategy if you value that early game pressure that Rek'Sai can provide.
Yeah, her ganks are super strong, as well as she does scale very well into the late game, so definitely a good pickup.
Yeah, meanwhile, there are definitely some power picks left on the board for Space Age Wizards, and we see them hovering one right now with Alistar. Has really become the go-to support, can both initiate a fight when he wants, as well as peel. And if they do end up locking in this Alistar, they do lock in Alistar, and if they follow it up with a lock-in on Gnar, that's going to be two very beefy people in the front line of fights. Maokai accomplishes the same thing.
Exactly. Big old tanks right up, they soak up tons of damage, layer out all the crowd control, just so much control right now from the Space Age Wizards.
Absolutely, and we see the makings of a teamfight comp there already. You're not gonna try to get a ton of individual outplays in the top lane with Maokai, but with that front line of Maokai and Alistar, that's two very big targets that Team 7 will have to work through to get to whatever rounds out the eventual backline here. So we'll see how they counter. We see the makings of a teamfight comp from Space Age Wizards. We'll see if Team 7 wants to follow up with that, or if they want to try to work around it.
Yeah, and honestly, I kind of like Vayne Hover. She is a late game AD carry. She can scale just as hard as the Maokai and the Alistar, but with the Silver Bolt true damage, that ignores armor. She can shred through them with that extra attack speed pretty well. The Thresh added protection. However, point and click Maokai is, you can't out Vayne the can at that. So it's a very skill matchup in the sense that their team is going to have to be on point with the peeling, and I believe it is Altonio, who's actually playing Vayne, will have to have superior positioning.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Blitzcrank cover, how do you feel about it, Chaucer?
Well, if you are trying to get some initiation at any point, that's the strength of Blitzcrank. You know, his laning phase is not very great, but at any point you can get into a 15-minute game, some sort of long drawn-out affair, and it can just end on the spot with a good Blitzcrank pull. Can completely punish bad positioning and any small mistake, but they actually instead continue the team fight composition, locking in Sivert and Sejuani as you would expect. So very very telegraphed strategy here. That doesn't mean it won't work. One of the main split push threats against something like this is Zed, and that's not even an option. So.
And no surprise, Flipsa is picking up the Sejuani. Ran that in both games last weekend, so he's got a comfort pick. It fits perfectly with the Sivert comp. You speed up these big old tanks, they jump on your back line. You don't even get a chance to respond with all that crowd control coming at you.
That's right. I do like the Hecarim pick, though. We'll see if they actually do stick with Smite. Right now they're showing 3 Smites on the team. But we'll see if they do stick with the Smite Hecarim top lane. And he will be able to provide some of that split push pressure. It's maybe not as, as dangerous as a Zed. But if you get Hecarim ahead, the horse can be absolutely terrifying and can pull Space Age Wizards around the map where they can't get that 5v5 in the middle of the lane that they're looking for.
And then he can, playing off what you just said, turn a 4v4 into a 5v5 extremely quick with that teleport, and he can get past those massive walls. All he has to do is use Onslaught of Shadows, jumps right on top of the Sivert, and even if she spell shields the initial fear, he's still got the knock-up coming in.
That's right. Ahri can dive to the back line as well. Any sort of charm can start a fight. I mean, it is going to be difficult for Shadow to be able to do too much with Ahri just because there are 3 people you do not want to charm. So it's going to be very dangerous for Shadow when he does try to dive to the back and try to, make something of that backline of Orianna and Sivert. We see the defensive summoner coming out from Orianna as well as the spell shield from Sivert. It's going to be very difficult for him to have the sort of impact that you like to have with an Ahri. So, go ahead.
Oh, their team fight is super strong, but they are running just a double threat composition.
Right.
Whereas Team 7 has 3 threats. So if Sivert or Orianna is behind, they're going to be a little bit short on the damage, which can translate to Team 7 Dusk coming up in the extended fight.
That's absolutely right. And if you look at Space Age Wizards, and if everything goes right, Alistar gets a nice engage, knocks him up, or Sejuani lands an ult, and Maokai's able to point and click and get on in there, and then you just stack Sivert damage and maybe a nice command shockwave from Orianna. You see what they want to do, and you see how powerful it can be. That said, there's a lot of mobility on the side of Team 7. Thresh can sit in the backline, can provide mobility to the rest of his teams thanks to Dark Passage. Meanwhile, everyone else on their team has a dash or a burrow, or I guess in Hecarim's instance, just the ability to run very, very fast. So they have a lot of ways to get away from what Space Age Wizards are trying to bring out, and they can make it sort of chaotic with Vayne having great duel potential, Rek'Sai providing early pressure, and then Ahri and Hecarim both being able to duel. So they do have some ability to not get sucked into that 5v5 that Space Age Wizards are looking for.
Yes, and they do have Ahri and Hecarim who love to flank. So they could be going towards that strategy to get to the Sivert, get to the Orianna, who are essentially immobile carries without Sivert's on the hunt ultimate being used.
Yeah,
so they could look to secure some vision control and then move around from the sides to avoid that full-on Sejuani, Alistar, Maokai rush.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The name of the game is going to be positioning, it's going to be flanking. If you're able to set up a nice teleport for Hecarim, who actually looks like he's decided to go with Ignite for even more kill pressure in lane. If you're able to set up plays with them and they can get to that back line, then everything falls apart for Space Age Wizards. This great front line is very tanky and has a lot of crowd control stacked onto it, but they don't do a lot of damage, and if you're able to disrupt the back line, then they just won't be able to have the damage, as you said, to round out those team fights, and you'll see Vayne take over. So vision and positioning very much going to be the name of the game here, and it comes down to recognition on the side of Team 7. You know, did they saw exactly what Space Age Wizards wanted to do from the very beginning. They see that Maokai, Alistair logged in. That's two big tanks. Around it and try to have something. They were able to think ahead, know what their game plan for success is, pick the champions that fit into that plan, and now it'll just come down to execution.
Yeah, so it's going to be extremely interesting to see how this plays out. A lot of back and forth. If the Team 7 bus goes a little bit too far ahead, that is easily punishable by a turn via Shockwave, Alistar, Flash Pulverize. So we're in for some big fights. Absolutely.
And we'll see how they choose to manage this, both sides really. I feel like a lot of this game is going to revolve around Tanballs and Hecarim. Whether or not he's able to get ahead and have success is really going to be telling for this.
Alrighty, and while they're loading in, we're going to be taking for a quick break. So hang with us and we'll be right with you in a few minutes.
Okay.
Right on.
Our and Space Age Wizards here on the right side. So very much, we talked about it in the pregame. Teams that know exactly what they want to do, how they want to approach this out. Okay. All right, so here we are at level 1. Both teams looking like they're just picking up some vision. Nothing too adventurous here at level 1. Sorry for the technical difficulties there, but we are in Space Age Wizards on the red side. Team 7, Dusk. Looks like, yeah, everything going to be exactly as you would expect at level 1. Sejuani starting there on the blue side. We actually see all 5 members of Space Age Wizards in that blue buff jungle on their side of the map. So we'll see if this just means Maokai is taking wolves and teleporting top, or if it means that they're going to try something a little different here. Meanwhile, Hecarim waiting just up in the top lane, ready to get things going. And it does look like Maokai is going to be on those wolves. We'll see where he decides to go after that. Bottom lane very much expected to be more or less a farm fest, unless we're able to see Prez make some nice plays on Alistair to give an opportunity. Thresh and Vayne are very dangerous in lane, but with a Alistair to protect Sivir and Sivir's spell shield, it's going to be very difficult for them to actually make a play. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, again, we see Ahri does have some kill pressure. Orianna went with that defensive stomp. Went for that pick, and we'll see how it goes. And we do see that Hecarim on Tian Balls actually went Ignite up in the top lane, so there could be some kill pressure up there against Overdose Panda on Maokai. Typically you see those top lanes where nobody's able to really do damage to the other and they just kind of trade back and forth, but with Ignite, Tian Balls is saying, I want to be aggressive, I want to be able to take some kills. Meanwhile, Charm lands on, nice first charm of the game from Shadow, lands on Orianna, and that's just a trade back and forth, but already trying to make something happen there in the middle.
Alright, and we see Sejuani with a early back, picks up the Rangers Trailblazer, and has got a little bit of a CS deficit to Rek'Sai because of it, but will be able to stack some gold a little bit faster due to having that jungle item.
Absolutely, and bottom lane play now exactly as we expected. Both teams just trying to farm, not too much. Meanwhile, Tianbao is actually down to about a third HP, while Overdose Panda is still at full. They're in the top lane, still chugging through those consumables with that flask to try to sustain up and keep the farm going. But a nice early job there by Overdose Panda to at least gain some pressure over the lane.
Yeah, and sorry for the technical difficulties, my mic was malfunctioning, but now you will get to hear some great analysis. Or at least I think so, at least. But,
worth
you know,
the wait. Meanwhile,
we can see how that goes.
Yeah, meanwhile, both junglers in the middle lane, but it looks like nothing will actually come of it. Rek'Sai burrows and gets back out. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, headbutt from Prez does land, knocks up Altonio, but now he's in a little deep after getting the hook, and this is a trade there with Ahri, Opai, Desu on there on Thresh. Follow-up hook to win that trade. They're 4 teams 7, though. It looks like in the end everything comes out about where we started.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of having Vayne with overfull proc. She essentially ignores all that armor Alistair's got built up, goes straight for his health pool, and that's pretty limited early game until you get some items. And that's going to continue on into the late game.
Right, meanwhile, we do have this fight going on in the top lane, and now it is Tianbaz being the aggressor, following up on Overdose Panda, making him back away with about half of HP bar gone. So good job there by Tianbaz to sustain through the early push from Maokai to actually take a a nice little lead there. We see the CS is basically even, but Maokai forced to recall with no teleport.
Yeah, and it's a huge win right now for Tianbo's in the top lane. He's about to keep building that CS lead, and having that flask means even though Maokai's passive gives him some extra HP on spellcast, he doesn't run out of mana like Overdose Panda will, and eventually he starts winning the trades because of it.
That's right, and now we see a lot of grouping up in the middle lane. Sejuani and Rek'Sai both waiting in the wings if anything does transpire between Ahri and Orianna. But it looks like not too much is happening there. Meanwhile, Sivir is hooked. Spell shield to get through the play. Now we have a fight. They're trying to get Altonio takes the shield. Sivir forced to back up. Great hook there by Ahri Desu to pick up Team Evil and pull him in for some damage there. But you see the strength of Alistar in lane sustaining right back up. Meanwhile, Antonio does not quite have quite as much of a buffer to work with.
Yeah, and that's one of Vayne's weaknesses, is the laning stage. She can't get the extra sustain unless her support gives it to her. Oh,
they're
beautiful
still
hook.
trying though. Hook in, here comes the help. Rek'Sai comes in, flash burn by Prez after he takes that hook. Summoner heal use, but Prez is gonna go down for trouble. Meanwhile, Ahri, this is a 4-man dive in the bottom lane, and they're gonna pick up 2 kills. It's a double kill for Altonio.
That was an amazing roam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect timing by T7 Shadow and Poseidon. Translating that double kill bottom, especially when that's picked up on Vayne, right into the dragon. Also gonna be speeding up that item process for Vayne, get her into the late game before Sivir has a chance to even get in there.
That's right, and we see the dragon go down. Maybe a small misstep there, and a great planned play there by Team 7, but maybe a small misstep for Space Age Wizards to be that deep into the lane where they open themselves up to that. Meanwhile, Tianbo's actually forced to run away. Flash used by Maokai. Flash gets in advance. We'll finish it off. So after a bunch of trading in the top lane, it's actually Overdose Panda who's able to make the play and pick up that first kill on Tianbo's on Hecarim, who didn't even use Ignite. So nice job trading back there after the very nice early move by Team 7.
Yeah, and that works perfectly in favor right now for Space Age Wizards, because Hecarim wants to become that monster who you cannot fight one-on-one, who controls the entire northern region of the map, and Maokai right now is saying, hell no, this is my side of the map, and having that extra tank stat on him, I assume he's putting the Catalyst into a Righteous Glory. That's just going to speed up their initiation tool. So, looking good right now, Space Age Wizards in terms of the mid-game. Although that Vayne is going to become quite the scary one soon.
Well, that's right, and we see Bilgewater Cutlass are picked up by Altonio on Vayne. I mean, the thing is, if you don't want anybody, of course, to pick up kills, but it's almost easier to deal with a fed Vayne than a fed Hecarim, because you do have those tanks to soak up damage from Vayne while your backline does its job. Meanwhile, if Hecarim got ahead, it's a lot more difficult to stop him from getting to your squishies.
Alright, we hear the farm alarm going off. Rek'Sai just gonna pick up the Scuttler Crab via his ultimate. I call that word.
That's right. Meanwhile, Maokai, Tianbo's again forced out by Overdose Panda, and Deadbeat actually getting somewhat of an advantage there over Shadow in the middle lane. The Far's got about an 11 CS lead right now and has some pressure. While the farm is even in the top lane and more or less across the AD carry position, but laning phase going to Orianna even with the defensive summoner there in the middle.
And I love how Poseidon had the awareness. He saw Sejuani appear on the map. Oh, beautiful ulti bottom.
That's right. Great play there. They're trying to get in, trying to run away. Demeadle trying to get out. The Sejuani being there is enough to force back Team 7. Very nice play, but they're not able to, neither team is able to pick up any kills off of it.
Okay, back to what I was saying. The Poseidon Rek'Sai, noticed that Sejuani was on the bottom side, and we got a turret dive right here.
Man, this is aggressive right here, and works out. They get it. How WordPress final shot takes him down.
Oh,
So,
another kill on Vayne.
Antonio getting meanwhile on the top lane now. Overdose Panda in trouble, maybe a little too deep. Rek'Sai arrives, deciding Boss trying to chase him down. Sapling not out in time, but in the middle lane now Shadow picks up a kill.
God.
Action everywhere. So a very nice tower dive bottom, but they do end up trading 1-for-1. Meanwhile, Poseidon makes his move on the top lane where they pick up a kill for nothing, and we see Shadow take down Deadbeat in the middle lane. Very nice across the map play for Team 7, who turn it into a 400 gold lead. Now Flipsy maybe bites off more than he can chew, just trying to clean up the wave in the middle. Teleport in, they were not done yet. Here comes Overdose Panda trying to 1v2 here, gets Poseidon chasing him down, turns on the ultimate, is trying to get their tunnel used by Poseidon. Will Overdose Panda keep up the chase? He does not have flash available and decides not to go any deeper there. So at the end of the day, it's still only a 500 gold lead for Team 7, but you have to look at Antonio on Vayne, 91 CS, 300. Great start for him.
Is it okay to talk wards wards now, or are we still fighting? No, I'm just kidding. Alright,
yeah, that's
so, long story short, you see jungler appear on one side of the map. You as a jungler go ahead, go and invade their side of the jungle, get some deep wards in, and you can see these are paying off right now. You can see Sejuani revealed in the northern side. He's got wards all over that jungle. They know exactly where they need to be, when they need to be there, and that translated into, as Chaucer valiantly told us about, kill top lane, kill mid lane. Even though they got turret dove bottom, they still came up with the kill. Didn't lose their tower either, so information wins games, i.e. warding.
That's right, absolutely. So, taking stock as that next dragon comes up in 60 seconds, we may see our first 5v5 team fight as we see trading back in the top lane. Tiabo's actually going a little aggressive. The creep wave is against him, and he does not win that trade with Overdose Panda. But yeah, we're 45 seconds away from Dragon, and it's not even a gold lead for all the kills and the nice play in the 3-0 start for Antonio. Team 7 is actually not even up gold at all. So if there is a fight over this Dragon, it's anyone's game.
Yeah, and that gold right now is being manifested by the bottom side turret that they've taken that's globally spread between each champion. And you can see the CS differential in mid lane is slowly closing because Orianna's going to get her blue buff. However, I believe she'll get back into lane in time enough to pick up that wave that Ahri's quickly shoving under their turret.
Yeah, it was a really good play there by Shadow to pick up something back on Deadbeat, who had the pressure. But meanwhile, we do hit a pause here. We'll get this worked out. 13.5 minutes into the game, Dragon up in 4 seconds, so I expect we're going to be right back to the action when this pause comes off.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so stoked to see this Dragon fight play out. You've got Maokai finished the Righteous Glory. You've got the Morellonomicon finished on Orianna. Unfortunately, Sivir does not have her Infinity Edge yet. Vayne, however, has a Blade of the Ruined King. So right now you've got about 3 power spikes on the side of Space Age Wizard to 1 power spike on Team 7 Dusk. However, if they defend the Vayne, she does have the potential to carry this fight.
That's right. It was definitely advantage to Antonio in lane thanks to those 3 kills and that Blade of the Ruined King completed. The pause is off. We're back in the game. It looks like Space Age Wizards are actually the first ones to try to take control of this. Meanwhile, they run out Poseidon on Rek'Sai. Are they going to make the chase? They decline to. They're content with the vision. They have Scuttle, they have the pink down, and they're going to start up the Dragon here.
Hecarim just got home guards. You might be in for a huge teleport right here.
They're backing away from it slowly, trying to pull it out. We may have the fight. They're in position. Here we go. Hecarim comes in, jumps into the huge amount of damage there. Sejuani going to try to turn around, taking damage. Ahri goes down to Orianna. Flipsy goes down. Rek'Sai picks that one up. Overdose Panda in a lot of trouble. Double kill for Rek'Sai. Fresh trying to get out, flashes, but falls down anyways. Now Vayne trying to kite it out, trying to finish it off, but Demibo actually takes it. Triple kill for
Quadra kill!
Quadra kill for Orianna. Man, Deadbeat, took that death in the middle lane. but he was a monster there in that fight. It's a clean ace for Space Age Wizards, and they're going to take the dragon.
Man, and that's the strength right there. Perfect example. You have a control mage in the middle. It doesn't matter if you have died early on. As long as you are farming evenly, the utility you bring to that team fight just controls enough to turn the tides in your favor.
That's right, man. I wish we had a replay of that. That was crazy. It was actually Space Age Wizards who started up the dragon and took a little bit of damage from it, and it was a great teleport with home guards from Poseidon there. I'm sorry, from Tianbaz there, and it looked like that initial burst was enough, but Orianna able to land the shockwave and able to have the fight last long enough to go through several rotations of spells and just systematically clean it up. And once Altonio went down on Vayne and gave away the shutdown gold, that spelled the end of that fight.
Yeah, and as you can see from the back, Orianna, Deadbeat, purchased a needlessly large rod, the blasting wand, and an amplifying tome.
Yeah.
Just from that quadra kill. Right now, I would say the strongest champion on the map. Although she's only 200 gold above Vayne, just the AoE damage itself is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
That's right, and like we talked about, Vayne, Altonio now going for that static shift, starts with the Avarice bait, so not a giant power spike right now outside of that Blade of the Rune King. Trying to get to that late game, but he still has to get through all these tanks that Space Age Wizards have. And meanwhile, Orianna does not have that same problem. As long as she doesn't get dove out and killed by Tianbaz on Hecarim, she's going to be able to get all the damage she wants. We did see Team 7 do what they could after that. They respawned, they took out the middle turret, so they evened up the turret game. And they're actually still 200 gold in the lead after all of that, up 8-7 in kills. So it was a very, very good fight for Space Age Wizards, and obviously a great fight for Deadbeat picking up the quadra kill. But it hasn't translated into a gold lead yet.
Alright, that's a mid turret going down to Space Age Wizards, and probably an instant rotation top wave due to the fact that Overdose Panda has got that wave crashing onto the turret here. And they need to get Hecarim out of there. They need to give him a warning or something.
Yeah, it looks like he will make his way out of it, but there is no response right now from Team 7. They're playing right into the hands of Space Age Wizards, who effortlessly take down another turret. Now they have a gold lead, 1,500 gold lead, and Team 7 doesn't know what they want to do. They have 4 members up here, but they're going to have trouble fighting. But here we go, especially when Poseidon gets caught out and killed. Hecarim jumps in, gets a lot of damage with another kill, picked up for Deadbeats. Now Tianbaz goes down, Malcolm finishes it. Ari Shadow trying to run away. Twisted advance locks her up though. Flipsy coming in. Is she going to be able to trade back with the last tick of Ignite?
Ignite!
Oh! Well, that's something. But it's at the end of the day, it's a 3-for-1 for Space Age Wizards, who now have a 2,500 gold lead. We saw 2 more kills picked up by Deadbeat there, who is now 6-1-2 and just dominating this game.
The pure zone potential right there of Sejuani and Alistar just being these massive bodies in front of Vayne makes it so she cannot get to their backline. She can't hit the damage dealers. And it was just an easy cleanup for Space Age Wizards right there.
Yeah, absolutely. They got him into that choke point, and right now they have Team 7 playing right into their hands. We talked about before the game started, but could Team 7 recognize how they want to play this game and how it is that they do defeat Space Age Wizards? And right there, when Space Age rotates 5 people to the top lane, there's no across-the-map pressure in response by Team 7. Instead, they kind of float around in between the 2 turrets in the jungle, not sure what they want to do. They get engaged on and lose 3 members. That's just not the tactical way that they want to play this game.
Yeah, and that all came about because after they took mid, they saw Vayne was still bottom lane, and so they just took advantage of having the man-up situation, and that's not a short walk for her. So
that's right, and this is going to be
great awareness on Space Age Wizards.
Absolutely, and it's going to be very difficult now to get those flanks now that you have a extremely fed Orianna with a death cap completed. And of course on this cap, death cap is even stronger on this patch rather. So very huge threat coming out of Deadbeat, going to make diving that back line enormously difficult.
Definitely, and for those of you who don't know, Deathcap is now the only 120 ability power item. Luden's Echo, Zanya's Hourglass, Rylai's Crystal Scepter are all 100 ability power now, but their utility has been increased. So it's a trade-off instead of pure damage, but seeing as Oriana's so far ahead, the extra 35% ability power on that's just going to make her exponentially stronger.
That's right, now Shadow forced to burn Spirit Rush just to get away.
Glacial Prison whiffs.
I mean, at least they get something out of that. They trade ultimates from Shadow and from Flipsy, as well as getting on the hunt from Sivir. So, not a bad engage, but we see that mobility coming up in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Flipsy takes a lot of damage face checking a bush, and with the Dragon spawning in 15 seconds, that may be the opening that Team 7 need to win a fight. Both laners do have teleport available. Dragon is spawning right now. We see the vision control game already being fought. Pink wards for both teams being killed. Scuddler not a factor at the moment, so there is no subtraction. We'll see if Team 7 decides to take another fight here after the last one went so disastrously.
Yeah, and we got both teleports up on each team, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Hecarim just keep waiting in base like he's at right now, and wait to initiate on this fight. This time, however, I'd like to see him dive after the Sivir instead of after the people hitting the dragon.
Well, that's right, and it doesn't matter. They decide they don't want to fight. I mean, that's a smart decision, because if you don't think you can win, even with Flipsy already chunked at the beginning, if you don't think you can win that fight, don't take it. But don't send 3 people to stand around the back of the pit and watch it happen. Go push it in. You could have put pressure on the mid lane and at least got damage in on that turret, if not killed it outright. So instead, you just give up another objective for no meaningful trade back. And the lead continues to grow for Sage Wizards, who now have 3,000 gold on Team 7.
Yeah, and Maokai just finished the Frozen Heart, meaning Hecarim is going to have an extremely difficult time, if not dang near impossible, to 1v1 him. So right now their split push is out, their team fight is significantly weaker, and they're behind. So looking a little grim on Team 7 Dusk, they're going to have to need to make a pick here with Ahri or Thresh catching somebody out with the Death Sentence or the Charm. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to fight them 5v5.
And they do have the tools. You know, this looks bad for them behind. They've thus far been playing Space Age Wizards game, and it hasn't worked for them, unsurprisingly. But they do have the... find a way back into this game. That's the benefit of having playmakers in 3, really all 5 of the spots on your team.
Absolutely. So, right now, we're seeing the Aegis of the Legion being picked up on Thresh to deal with the immense magic damage that Oriana, Sejuani, Maokai, and Alistar can put out. Sivir being the only attack damage champion makes it easy to itemize against all that magic damage, but if they don't kill Sivir, she's just going to shred through them.
Could be if the fight goes right, if they get the pick that they need, it could be very good. Meanwhile, Charm does land. Shadow trying to get away. Now a fight breaks out. But it's actually Canvas who's in trouble. They go into great Glacial Prison, lands on 3 people. On the other side, Antonio does get picked off. Canvas gets picked off as well. Poseidon trying to clean up with the evil, may not get it. Double kill for Deadbeat. Now Ahri Desu running for his life on the backside. Will he go for it? Lands the hook on over this Panda, who might be too deep. Shadow trying to pick it up. Not gonna work though.
Flash pulverized.
Great play there by Alistair. Flipsy maybe in a little too deep. He will fall down. So they picked up 1, but that was a great play by Prez to get in there, and it's a 4-for-1 at the end of the day.
Wow.
That was
a
the
well-fought
fight
skirmish.
Yeah, I mean, that was the fight that 7 wanted. It was chaotic. It gave their dueling champions an opportunity to do so, but they were just too far behind. They didn't have the numbers in the jungle. They didn't have the positioning they wanted in the mid. And at the end of the day, it's a 4-for-1 for Space Age Wizards. It gives them, at this point, probably complete control of the game.
Yes, and I wanted to highlight what the Space Age Wizards were doing, not necessarily what Team 7 Dusk was not playing well. The Space Age had all their carries behind their tanks. Even though they were split across the walls, Vayne had to get essentially point-blank range to hit Demeeble's Sivir or Deadbeat's Orianna. And when he did that, Prez was right on top. Easy pulverize into Orianna's command dissonance and just ends her life.
That's right. Here as we hit the 25-minute mark of the game, it's a 5,000 gold lead for Space Age Wizards. We'll see. They weren't able. The one thing to say, they did take any objectives off of that fight. It was a great win. They don't even pick up a turret though, and there was no Baron or anything like that. So it was a very bad fight for Team 7, but it was not a game-changing fight.
Yes, and you're seeing Ahri has got pretty much the majority of the wave cleared on Team 7 Dusk's side. Vayne, yes, she's got Static Shiv now, but that isn't as strong as having an Orianna and a Sivir. Two champions who are immensely great at wave clear, therefore making the siege component of Space Age Wizards team even more stronger in comparison to Team 7 Dusk.
Meanwhile, Poseidon gets caught out in the jungle trying to recall. Whoopsie go ahead and pokes his head in that bush, but nothing to come of it. But it does give them vision control here with 45 seconds. They own the jungle. 45 seconds till Dragon comes up. They own Team 7's jungle. What will they do with it? On the hunt, burn, flash, twisted advance, catches Shadow even though it goes over the wall. Spirit Rush, another wall jump with Spirit Rush. Shadow trying to run for his life. The entire Space Age team of Space Age Wizards is out for blood.
That is one slippery fox.
What's she gonna do? Just gonna run
Hopefully
into
get the execute.
Well played there by Shadow, honestly. Yes, he died, but he didn't give up any gold, and he burned several spells on the side of Space Age Wizards. I think taking count of that, we see Demeeble used on the hunt. There may have been a flash or two burned in there. Maybe
Overdose
not.
Panda, I believe, flashed there.
Yes, yes. So, and it actually, that was a nice play there, and it gives his team the opportunity, if he is alive in time, to contest the Dragon. But smartly, it looks like the Space Age Wizards rush it down before Ahri is able to respond.
Alright, we're gonna have to see some Vayne mechanics here. Pull it out.
That's right. I mean, this is a very, very difficult spot to be in. Yes, you're having some nice plays. That was a good job by Shadow to, stop the bleeding there, limit the damage, but you are falling further and further behind. And 28 minutes in, 3 Dragons down to Space Age Wizards. The last 3, as a matter of fact. It makes that
looks like a collapse on Malcolm. This could be big.
Dragon a possibility. That's right. A lot of people here in the jungle. Malk, Overdose Panda running for his life. Teamboss chasing him down. Comes on in. Charm used. Play used. Lots of damage needed
but
to
notice,
finish him off. But
notice the bottom lane. They've got 3 members on that turret. If they go for the Baron here, they're giving up at least 1, if not 2 turrets for this Baron. So
that's right. Meanwhile, Deadbeat could fight Shadow. Shadow lands the charm, but we'll see what they do with this. This was a great rotational play. Debbie trying to win this fight. He is in trouble, though. Shadow on him. Charm misses. Shockwave misses, though. And as Debbie tries to kite it out, he's not able to finish it off. Will Space Age Wizards, they maybe could have taken that turret with Sivir and Alistair, but they choose not to. Meanwhile, Hecarim is down there to defend. That was a rotational mishap on the part of Space Age Wizards, and it was capitalized on perfectly by Team 7, who sneak a Baron out of it.
Yeah, it was great all there. I mean, the warding set up on their blue side jungle, just to see that Maokai was alone. They had the other members revealed on bottom lane, so they made a decisive call and it paid off.
Yeah, I don't know if you attribute that to a lack of vision for Maokai to, find his way into the middle of 4 members of Team 7, or if they just did a great job catching up to him. But at the end of the day, this game is still in control for Space Age Wizards, but the next 3 minutes probably belong to the Baroned up members of Team 7.
And that's going to help a lot, because they don't have the wave clear for the siege. So they're going to be able to take control of more of the map and hopefully get some more of those picks off. And that's going to give them a window, right, to get back into this game.
Absolutely. That was exactly what they needed. They make it happen, but will they be able to do anything with it? We saw them pick up 1 turret. That brings the score to 4-3 on turrets and still in favor of Space Age Wizards, but will they be able to do anything else with these Baroned up minions?
Yeah, this part of the mid going into the late game where you do have to have the wave clear for the siege, it's extremely difficult against the Sivir and Orianna, who can keep stalling the game out, let their other champions reach their full late game potential.
That's right.
Unless there's a forced fight on the side of Team 7 Dusk, I could see Space Age Wizards just hanging out for the next 2 or 3 minutes until Baron wears off.
That's right. We see a blue buff taken forward, and that 1 turret went down, and they picked up the Maokai, and obviously you get money from Baron, and those are all very good things for Team 7, but it's not enough if they don't do anything else with this Baron buff to actually change, the overall direction that we're going in this game. But it looks like we see them grouping up in the middle, trying to make a play. Charm doesn't land. Orianna does extreme amounts of damage there. The Shadow, that's what an 823 Death Cap Void Staff Morellonomicon Orianna can do to you right there. And that might stop a siege in its tracks. But Cannon Wave coming in. We'll see if we get a fight. Oh my God!
Deadbeat gets out though. His charm gets the shockwave down on one. Tianbaw's in the back. Deadbeat somehow still alive. Goes down. And Tianbaw's though falls for it. Sivir picks it up. Meanwhile, in the middle, Antonio's very deep into the fight, trying to run. Good play there. We see Rek'Sai coming into the back. Flash removal off for Ari Desu. His Vayne does go down. Flash Twitch in advance takes him out. Double kill for Sivir. Vayne was very deep in there. We
Can't
saw
out mechanic a twisted advance.
That's right. That was a very, very, very good Spirit Rush charm there by Shadow to start it off, but at the end of the day, it was still a tower dive, and you still are in that 5v5. Deadbeat was able to survive the initial burst, and that meant he was able to jump into the backline and still get off a shockwave when he needed to, which allowed his team to actually come up with the 3-for-1, I believe, there.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if everyone else on Team 7 Dusk was on the same page as Ari was, because she flashed forward, hit the charm beautifully, but Hecarim was about a second late. So, like you said, Orianna's able to just walk back and reposition for a great shockwave.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If they had been able to sec everything there and take Deadbeat out at the very beginning, that fight could have been entirely different. As it stands, though, it ended up being a 3-for-1, though the tower did fall. But Baron will be up soon if it's not out yet. And Dragon spawns in 30 seconds, and this could be number 4 for Space Age Wizards.
So, right now, Team 7 has 2 options. They let them have the 4th dragon, because that's not as game-changing as Dragon 5, and they could possibly rush for the Baron, assuming that they know Space Age Wizards doesn't have any wards on that side of the map.
Well, there's no Baron to go for right now, right? I don't know that
yeah,
it
it's
will
not
spawn.
even up yet. Sorry, that was a Rek'Sai tunnel. I saw purple over there.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay,
if it's going to
never
spawn in
mind.
time. Maybe they could have done something in the top lane, but here comes Hecarim teleporting in behind. Dragon at 3,000 health.
Oh, good job by Tianbaw to get in there, but will they be able to finish anything off? Alistair is the one taking the damage. Meanwhile, Glacial Prison hits a few. Vayne is chasing down Alistair and does finish it off. Exhaust Sprint to people in a bad spot. It goes down
that
for
damn!
Footsie in trouble. He'll go down. That's a 4-for-1 at this point. Overdose Panda running for his life. Dragon didn't even fall. That was a great job there by Tianbaw's on Hecarim. Teleports not into the middle of the fight where they can see him coming. Teleports in behind them and is able to just rampage through the middle of
Space Age Wizards, and now this is a game that could be completely swung. The gold lead at this point, though, 2,000 doesn't mean that much. They're face taking this turret. They want it. They may get it.
It was beautiful on paper, beautiful on execution, and even more intense to watch that actually play out.
That's right, but
perfectly.
they may have gone a little too deep here. They get the turret there, but will Poseidon get out? Ignite is ticking, tunnels away. Doesn't look like Ignite will finish him. He'll get out with a sliver of health. Meanwhile, Altonio could be in trouble. Tumbles away. Looks like he'll make it out. Is Prez going to chase this down? Thresh arrives. Thresh arrives, hooks Prez. That'll be enough to get Poseidon out with a sliver of his life. Now, Baron spawns in 30 seconds, but our first base inhibitor, base turret of the game has gone down. And 10 minutes ago, I do not think we would have said that it was going to go over to Team 7.
I think it's a little bit of a misplay right now on Space Age Wizards for not catching that farm and experience top lane. Their turret still stands once this wave is gone, but as you can see, they were just hanging out middle, and that's some valuable resources wasted. Yes, they get control of the Baron area, but they did not need 5 people to do that when they know that at least 2, if not 3, of Team 7 Dusk was basing.
That's exactly right, and they don't even seal the blue buff over there. They didn't even pick up Scuttle Crab, which is still around. So a little lack of, lack of a plan right now. The team fights have started to go poorly for Space Age Wizards. All of a sudden, they're not sure where they want to go on the map, where they want to apply that pressure. Looks like they will be able to get the Scuttle Crab and have some control around Baron, but the threat of it may be enough to pick a fight, but right now there is plenty of vision down, so this may be more difficult for them. They choose not to. They walk back to the middle lane where they do have an open inhibitor to defend.
Yeah, I like the Team 7 Dusk strategy here of just push at the open inhib, scare them off of Baron through the potential threat of taking that inhibitor, because they don't have the Hecarim's teleport for flanking. So that's a very dangerous fight to walk 5 people through the narrow corridors around Baron.
Shadow could be in trouble. Spirit rushes into the base. It goes down to the shockwave. Deadbeat had to use his splash, but he was able to survive. Now this is a weird spot for this fight. Deadbeat, Poseidon is on him, but he uses heal, gets heal picked up from Demeeble, and the tower is able to help down. Meanwhile, Tianbao is in trouble on the other side, falls down. Very aggressive there. The charm missed. Deadbeat survived again, and just like every fight that's happened, it's gone in the favor of Space Age Wizards. And now with 3 people dead, this could mean the Baron.
Oh, absolutely. Unless there's some miracle steal here, there's no way that they can give up this Baron.
That's you were exactly right with Deadbeat hooked, but nothing going to come of it. It was a good decision by Team 7 to push down that middle instead of risking a 5v5 at Baron. The problem is, once they pulled Space Age Wizards off Baron, they ended up taking a 5v5 anyways, only they did it under turrets and split up. And again, once Deadbeat doesn't fall down to the initial Ari burst, that means that the fight is going to go in the way of Space Age Wizards, and they pick up their first Baron of the game for it. 38 minutes in, great game here.
Oh, absolutely. So much action packed into it right now. So, man. Right now, they're going to have that Hecarim flank. Teleports up in about 20 seconds. They might let them push under the turret and try to get a ward behind them. Hopefully able to, pincer them in between the turret. That's going to be their strongest chance of the fight if they fight it on 2 fronts. If not, that's just an easy Glacial Prison, easy multiple-man pulverize. Maokai, he's not going down anytime soon. He's got 4.5 items built, sitting at almost 4,000 health, 300 plus armor. That's a big tree.
Yeah, that's going to take many swings to bring down, I think. So, this is...
Well, unless you're Braum. Well, no, I mean, sorry, Scion, he's got the Lumberjack skin.
That's right, man. A couple swings of the axe, that tree will fall right on over to Lumberjack Scion. Dragon is up in 60 seconds here. We'll see if we see a fight. This is not a hugely meaningful Dragon for either team. The movement speed buff would be nice for Team 7, but it's that all-important 5th Dragon buff is not yet on the table. Could be a siege down the middle here, and it's going to be honestly a very difficult siege to stop unless they get that point from Hecarim.
Yeah, if I was Space Age Wizards, this is exactly what I'd be doing right now. Have the 4-1 split. Yeah, top wave isn't in their favor, but having that Maokai for the teleport, you can force the siege with Baron, Sivir, and Orianna. There's
Yeah,
no
here
way
we go. They get the Meeple though. They may be able to finish it off. Ari jumps in, Shadow not able to get in, and now Sivir is still alive. It's Thresh who goes down in the middle. Antonio running for his life. Tianba is now trying desperately to get out. Meanwhile, we do see some Vayne mechanics there as Antonio picks up the kill on Meeple, who somehow escaped the initial burst. But they end up trading, and right now it's a 2-for-1 that leaves 4 members on the map with Baron to try to take down this inhibitor for Space Age Wizards.
Even without the ADC, them, these objectives are no match for the Baron minions.
That's right, and we see him take it. This is, these fights are so close. They may end up a little lopsided either way, but every single fight that Space Age Wizards has won and turned into something great has come about because Demeeble or Deadbeat is able to just barely survive that initial jump. And when we see Tianbaz and Shadow get that first kill, we've seen the fights go in the way of Team 7, but when Space Age Wizards are able to survive, they're able to pick it up. And there we saw Demeeble, he did eventually die, but he survived the initial burst, was able to get to the back of his team and get out a lot of damage first. And that's why they win that fight, why they take their 4th dragon.
Yeah, great execution, great defense work. Demeeble's footwork there. He was like a freaking ballerina just stepping around Rek'Sai, using the lifesteal on the Bloodthirster, just barely staying alive. Bought enough time for his team to come in and heal. Just, oh, it's beautiful.
Yes, great individual play.
I don't even know what else to say about it.
Great individual play there. We see Team 7's base broken for the first time. They are down an inhibitor as we near the 42-minute mark of the game. It's a 7,000 gold lead at this point for Space Age Wizards, so honestly that's probably less important than, you know, which team is able to get the pick or the positioning they want when a fight does break out.
Yeah, because in these extended fights, just having those extra stats are just gonna make you just easier to accomplish what you're trying to do. And fortunately, Scuttler can't tell you where pink wards are because there's still one left. However, vision control being dominated by Space Age Wizards, because of the minion wave pressure they've had on the top and bottom lanes. And with the supers pushing in middle, that guarantees at least one member has to be middle, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them force multiple people down, I'd say bottom at this point, because there's still a tier 2 tower top side, so...
That's right, and
we'll
you've talked a lot about... Yeah, you've talked a lot about the wave control that has existed for Space Age Wizards, and that speaks to Alistair Prez picking up that banner of command, able to control those side waves, and they've done it beautifully in this game.
Yeah, I think he's taking a leaf out of Lost Boy's book there.
That's right.
I believe that's one of his favorite items. Pretty sure there hasn't been a game he hasn't built.
I mean, it's worked out perfectly for him. They've had the pushes when they need it. Now, Thresh could be in trouble here. Poseidon also running away. Tunnel use. Prez
that is
forces
one mad cow.
That is a mad cow. Knocks Ari back into the base just because he can. Puts his foot down.
You want to help through the gate? Okay, got you, bro.
And you said it, they had to send Hecarim top to control that wave, and that allows 5 members of Space Age Wizards to cheese up. It already hurt bottom, and it just instantly falls down. Hecarim is not here. He's recalling, not teleporting, but it's going to be way too late. Free inhibitor picked up by Space Age Wizards, who now have 2. Just going to walk back out of the base. It could be a fight. Shadow goes in, tries to land it, he doesn't get it, so there's a knock-up. Nice Glacial Prison on
beautiful Glacial Prison.
Great drop. They're fighting, but then Prez taking all the damage, and that means that the rest of his team's going to clean up in the back. Demeeble picks one up.
The original Unicorn of Love.
Clipsy flashes out, but goes down. Sivir picks one up. Vayne picks one up. This is actually a 3-for-1 in the favor of Team 7, who were just able to pick up enough at the beginning.
Are going to take a Nexus turret middle. They the fight. They won it valiantly. Amazing flank by Tianbaz on Hecarim, getting into their backline, disrupting the lines of the fight, making them fight it on multiple fronts. but the super minions just doing absolute work right now.
That's right.
Even though they come up on the fight, there's no way they take an objective off of it because all of the pressure is being put on their base and they have to defend.
Yeah, they got the fight they wanted, and they actually did manage to save their Nexus turret, but they got the fight they wanted. The problem is it came after an inhibitor had already fallen. The Baron has spawned, and there is 15 seconds left on Deadbeat's timer, and Flipsy 10 seconds as well. They see it. Hecarim is there. Will they make a play on it? Altonio's starting to head that way. However, Ari is in the bottom lane.
And Ari does not have teleporter anyway to get there very quickly, so you could.
That's right.
You might see a forced fight here by Space Age Wizards, knowing they'll have the man up for probably another 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's entirely possible that you could have kept one person back in the base there for Team 7 and rush down that Baron. It did spawn while members of Space Age Wizards were still dead, but they are not able to do that, and now Space Age Wizards have control over it, and they're going to have the push on their side in the bottom lane, thanks to that inhibitor that's still down.
And that's the worst worst in the perspective of Team 7, the best inhibitor for Space Age Wizards to have, because it is the single farthest point on the map of pressure from Baron.
Yeah, and we see them just started up, no fear here. They say, we've got a pink ward, we know where you're at, we see Hecarim in the bottom, we're going to go for it.
And he doesn't have the teleport.
Down to 5,000 health, they're just going to end up letting this go. It's the second Baron of the game now. Elton on the hunt for it. Ari does do in a bad spot. Tianball's not in a great spot either, though he does get to the backline. Meanwhile, Poseidon jumps into the middle, but they don't have the numbers they want. Poseidon headbutted over the wall. Oh, Antonio just blew up instantly. Nice Sonya's there.
Oh my god, the Sonya's hourglass.
Does go down at the end, but it bought some more time for his team. Now Shadow trying to run away. This could be the game. Twisted Advance does land. Headbutt Pulverize lands. He's not going to make it out of this. A Twipsy lands. He doesn't pick another one up. Knocked all over the place. Meanwhile, you see Poseidon with flashing red running away. Demibo is in their base. Puts the Baron at minion. Says, I don't even want this inhibitor. I want your Nexus. There go two Nexus turrets. This is going to be it. One fight. Surrender actually comes in at the end. One Baron take and one ill-advised fight, and that's it. Space Age Wizards pick up the first game in a crazy hectic 47 minutes.
That was wild. I love that last Twisted Advance by Maokai, looking like my boy Trevor back there.
Man, that was bloody 50 kills.
Well, guys, stay tuned in, and gals too. Can't forget about them, they're pretty important. So, Game 2 coming up next few minutes. We'll be right back with you. All right. And we're back. Game 2, Week 2, Team 7 Dusk versus Space Age Wizards. My name's Thunderdome, and I'm here with Chaucer. Do you want to give a quick recap of what happened last game?
Absolutely. What happened last game was a lot of kills. We saw a team fight composition come out of Space Age Wizards, who were on the red side last game, blue side this game, and they were able to use it to take an early lead over Team 7. But some nice picks and shot calling got Team 7 back in the mid game for a couple bad fights, or good fights on the side of Space Age Wizards, if you want to look at it that way. Allowed them to pick up the game and move into Game 2 here up 1-0 with the ability to win this series with a win in this game. A lot of deaths, 50 deaths, 46 minutes, I think. More than a death a minute. Definitely a pretty wild game.
Yeah, it was absolutely back and forth, tons of action, all the team fights, much WoW. Okay, so right now, quick cap, we got Gangplank, Gragas, and Rise banned from the Space Age Wizards are banning those three. The Gangplank has been a permaban, if you want to count the last 2 games as permanently. So definitely must be a pocket pick on the side of Team 7 Dusk. Gragas, top tier jungler. Rise, top tier OP point and click champion. Pretty understandable why they took those out. Right now, Team 7 Dusk, however, bans away the Maokai, Sejuani, and the Alistar. 3 major components of last game that gave Space Age Wizards the win. And the instant Zac Bach, love his style.
I mean, yeah, do you think Team 7 here doesn't want to play against a team fight composition? Maokai, Sejuani, Alistar, all target bans. We lost to it, so we are not going to play against it again. Meanwhile, this allows them to set Shyvana was banned last game by Space Age Wizards. It's not banned, or was it? It was banned by somebody last game at least, but not banned this game and picked up by Team 7, who, or possibly picked up anyways. Also hovering NASA's, maybe a Scion. Looks like they're trying to get tanky right now. That Zac lock-in, though, that's pretty interesting. Rek'Sai was open, but we see Zac locked in. Could be top lane.
Oh, that's a good point. I was imagining it in the jungle. I just love the slingshot into lane out of nowhere. It just surprises the hell out of the laner.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly what you would expect, but we do see Shyvana picked up for Team 7 along with the Sivir. Ban away 3 things you lost to, pick a 4th. All that's left is Orianna, so they could completely take away the picks of Space Age Wizards. The Bard hover, if we were at the LCS, the crowd would be cheering right now.
And the Echo as well. Alright, so with the Sivir and Shyvana, I love that synergy. The only thing faster than that is a Rammus powerballing from the home guard. So right now, tons of movement speed, easy way to reposition, easy way to get to the back lines. You got a Dragon Lady full of armor coming at you, that's pretty scary. So,
That's right.
we got an Echo Hover, so flashy, so much fun to watch. I would love to see him picked. And he has the ability to dive Sivir and get out. Oh, but we see the Annie, so
Yeah, they're just
hard
messing with
engage.
us here. Messing with us with the Bard. End up locking in. Looks like they're going to force that team fight anyways. Annie is a great initiator if you don't have Alistair to do it. Zach's good at diving the backline and just generally, bouncing around on everybody. And obviously, Rumble in the top lane with the ability to lock down the backline. So maybe they're going to miss out. I mean, that's the one thing. Yeah, I don't think Zach was going to be a contested pick. If you were planning a Rumble Annie composition and you wanted Sivir, you could have locked it in right away. Instead, you pick up a Zach pick, which I think you could have got at any point.
Yeah, maybe they were kind of wanting to hide what they were attempting to do there. Although Zach is pretty one-directional in the sense he has to dive in, but he can use his ult to peel, and I mean he's a huge late-game tank, so maybe they were trying to hide their comp. But like you said, leaving a lot of power picks open for Team 7 Dusk.
That's right. Meanwhile, we see them lock in Irelia and Nautilus. So extremely tanky front line there. Shyvana, Nautilus, Irelia with the power to split push, but also team fight and a Sivir. So a lot of tools for engaging coming out from both teams right now. I think it might be safe to say Deadbeat will not be locking in this figure.
Yeah, that'd be honestly dumb.
It'd be awesome.
Point and click stun. Oh, it'd be awesome if you're looking at it from their perspective, but not many people he can one-shot on the opposing team. So, Nautilus, great initiation, great lockdown. Sivir to speed up Shyvana and Irelia, just makes their dive onto the backline easier. Massive tanks, a great amount of damage. And the instant Yasuo lock, that's a confidence one right there.
I guess we see why they wanted that Zac. But this is actually the only other knock-up on the team is they lock in Lucian. They're going to have a lot of power in the bottom lane with Annie and Lucian. Great. Two people with the ability to definitely have kill pressure in lane. But Yasuo is going to be largely responsible for himself with only Zac to help with knockups.
And yeah, the Sivir can possibly spell shield the Annie stun, but if she uses it for that and doesn't get surprised by a flash Tibbers or Incinerate, then there's always the Zac to follow it up, and you know he will be following it up if Annie's pulling the trigger like that.
Right.
So there's so many things that she needs to block and can't block, so it's almost free game for Yasuo to get an ult on Sivir if they can get to the back line. But they do lack a lot of peel.
Yeah, it's exactly right. They are all in for sure. We'll see how Shadow wants to fight against Yasuo. We see them hover a lot of stuff. It looks like it'll be Fizz. I actually like that. Fizz has the ability to kill Yasuo either at level 3 or at level 6 if he can, play around the wind wall there. So definite kill pressure coming out in the middle lane from both teams. Going to be a bloody bottom lane as well. I think we're maybe on track to surpass that 50 kills just by looking at it across the board here.
Yeah, this is going to be one bloody match.
We'll see. Flipped Z probably trolling us. Barrier
I don't know.
clairvoyance.
I mean, Zac has a way to get out and is passive. He might not think he needs Flash. Granted, having Flash with his ultimate for a reposition, I think would be a lot more effective than the barrier, because he's going to be a tank anyway.
We're lacking a smite right now.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So we'll see.
You're right. You're right.
He's definitely leaving it, right? 5 seconds here? Surely this isn't going to happen. Okay.
Maybe he... Okay, I was just saying maybe he disconnected or something.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, are we going to have a remake here because he trolled and then disconnected? But I
think they're required to pick the same champions again if that was to happen.
That is correct, yes. But anyways, yeah, he does not go through with it. Everything works out in the end. Smite Flash, as you'd expect. So, interesting summoner spell, though, is the Exhaust on Yasuo.
I'm not a big Yasuo player, but when I do run him, I use Exhaust. It's just, he does so much damage with the Ignite's almost unnecessary. But if you can, especially into the Fizz, if you can drop the Exhaust when Fizz comes in to do his all-in combo on you, and you can block half that damage, that guarantees you win the trade, as opposed to the extra 100 to 250 damage you'll get from the Ignite. I like Exhaust for the utility, and with Annie taking Ignite bottom lane for the kill pressure, it balances it out. But
yeah, you're absolutely
personal
right.
preference aside, Ignite is still definitely viable on Yasuo.
Right, but no, you're exactly right. With Fizz has the ability to just all in Yasuo level 6 and kill him. That'll be great for them to have. And the fact that they are going for Ignite in the bottom lane, want to have that kill pressure down there. Later in the game, even if Fizz is trying to flank and you're not able to exhaust him, exhausting Irelia will certainly be something that the Space Age Wizards want to do. So it does make a lot of sense there, especially, Yasuo against that team, maybe not going to do a lot of in and outing. He's going to be pretty reliant on his ultimate. So Ignite at that point maybe a little, less useful to the team than that exhaust will be. But looking at the top lane, how does Rumble Irelia typically play out? Who do you give the advantage to there with Overdose Panda against TM Boss? We saw a lot of trading there in the last game where Overdose Panda had a lot of success early and then kind of got beat back, but did pick up some kills up there. So who do you give the advantage to in the top lane?
It's a tough one. They both carry a lot of damage. Aurelia is weak until she gets all 3 of her abilities, and then she doesn't spike again until 6. So, assuming she's gonna max her E first for the Equilibrium Sun, because if she was to max W and get into an extended trade with Rumble would outright win the extended trade, and then the after effect of it, because he'd be able to Electro Harpoon, slow her, and Flame Spitter her as she walks away.
Right. Well,
So-
I'm interested to see what we get out of the junglers here, because really every single lane in the game, but especially looking at the solo lanes, is snowballable. I'm sure that's a word, I just made it up.
I'm down for it, I'll use it. Okay, so we're going to be taking a quick break while the loading is happening. Stick with us and we'll be right back with y'all once they get onto the rift. Alright, and we're in. Welcome to the Rift. I'm Thunderdome, and with me is Chaucer.
That's right. Jumping into Game 2 here between Space Age Wizards and Team 7. We have Space Age Wizards on the blue side, Team 7 on the red side, and this could end our series here if Space Age Wizards are able to take this game.
Yeah, and it was a long, hard game last match, but they did come out on top. And yet again, you see two team fight-oriented compositions. Now, this can go either way. It's very unusual composition, I would say, on the side of Space Age Wizards this time around. But, I mean, I like seeing something new like that. It makes it more interesting.
Absolutely, and a lot of posturing here in the river. But nothing looks like it will come of it. They definitely have the ability to a lot of damage very quickly. If you're able to stun with Annie, flash Tibbers, jump in with Zach, ultimate with Yasuo, Colleen Equalizer, it's a lot of damage. That said, it also has the ability to, fall apart if they're not able to get anything off the immediate with Annie's stuns, and then you end up with Zach in the back line. But Yasuo, with very little else on the team to help set him up, it could be pretty impotent in the back if he does not have the perfect setup. So going to be, I think, it's going to either look very good, or it's going to look pretty bad for Space Age Wizards.
Yeah, especially if the Annie does go in. Let's say they get a great initiation, but like you said, if they don't kill Sivir or Fizz, then they've got an Aurelia and a Shyvana and a Fizz on their backline without a reliable means of heal.
That's right, and actually Shadow taking a lot of damage there early from Yasuo. We see he's taking masteries into biscuits, no flask, so we'll have the ability to sustain through some of it.
And you see that early pressure Lucian is able to put on a lane right now, and he's got, and in Annie too, of course, got to give love to our supports out there. But just the early damage and pressure they're able to put out is making it hurt.
Absolutely, but they trying to get some trade back. Antonio gets a little bit of damage down onto Prez, but both of them are chunked out. Meanwhile, Irelia getting very much bullied by Overdose Fan in the top lane, down to about half HP, but she has help. Poseidon has arrived. Overdose Fan running for his life. Will they get a summoner out of this? Flash stun by Tienbaz, but it doesn't do anything. Does not have the follow-up. Maybe some miscommunication. It looked like Shyvana had actually peeled off a little bit, and at the end of the day, it's no summoner was burned for Overdose Panda, but a flash down from Irelia. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Prez in trouble, gets locked up, gets rooted to the ground, takes some boomerangs, and is down pretty low here. Maybe losing some of that pressure they had gained early.
Yeah, it was a great trade bottom lane, good recognition by Nautilus there to initiate it. And just to touch on what happened top lane, definitely miscommunication on the side of Team 7.
Maybe not.
Dusk.
First blood going down. No! Flash used by Prez. Summoner and heal just barely gets out after getting locked down again by...
And Shyvana's trying to Geeky invade, and you see Flipsa coming up. This is my jungle, my house. You will not be allowed here.
That's right, absolutely. Pressure everywhere, all over the map. Flashing red bars, and it's Space Age Wizards and Flipsy on Zach, who pick up first blood. Not necessarily the jungler you expect to win that duel early, but all the same, first blood is picked up.
Yeah, I loved seeing the Shyvana go top lane when she had the red buff, because Shyvana does lack a hard crowd control ability. Yeah, she's one of the fastest ones out there. But using that red buff advantage early on Rumble, who doesn't exactly have an escape, trying to burn the summoner, but then got a little greedy going for the blue buff there. So we'll see if Zach can translate this into more lane pressure, having that extra kill on him.
That's right. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Shadow still fighting that uphill battle against Deadbeat's Yasuo, and Deadbeat has a 13 CS lead already. Meanwhile, Gamebob's no flash in the top lane. Rumble lands the hard Electro Harpoon, tries to get out on Shadow, in trouble in the middle lane as well. Definitely getting bullied out there by Yasuo, down CS, and Irelia in the top lane, again recalling very hurt. So cumulative map pressures being won here by Space Age Wizards.
That was a great, Steel Tempest by Yasuo, stopping Fizz's back and essentially denying him an extra wave.
That's right, and Prez takes damage to the bottom lane. So the only lane that seems to be going particularly well for Team 7 is this bottom lane. That said, they weren't able to turn it into a kill, and they are definitely behind in these solo lanes. Fizz literally half the CS of Yasuo. That's not how you want to start on a champion like that.
Yeah, and that's a huge deficit B in this early in the game. Not even level 6 yet, and you're getting out CS by about 20 right now.
Yeah, and he picked into it. We saw Yasuo locked in first, we saw Fizz locked in last. And I mean, in my experience, Fizz can be a counter to Yasuo, but it's not easy, especially early. And Deadbeat did a great job taking that early pressure and turning it into a CS advantage, and then the ability to bully Shadow out of the lane.
And right now you're seeing Lucian up 10 CS, and I would attribute that to the early pressure that Prez has been putting down on this Annie, and just the utter zone control. Even though he's against a Nautilus, who has the ability to explode a squishy like that, just the threat of the stun on Sivir is enough to keep him on the back foot.
That's right, Prez in trouble now though. Another lockup by Ari Desu. Boomerang comes in. Prez has taken a lot of damage on Annie, but you know what? It's worked out because he has survived, and at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Yes, and while that was going on, you saw Flipsa come in for a mid lane gank. Nothing too big came out of it, but more pressure on Fizz, who was already struggling, so just giving Deadbeats an extra hand up.
That's right. Now, Overdose Panda getting pressed on a little bit. Shao, job, Shark lands, goes through, uses the combo, Exhaust comes out very late, Deadbeat flashes away and using Exhaust. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, now Demimo could be in trouble. No stun used. Lots of trading. It was a good Shark by Fizz. The Windwall came late, the Exhaust came late. Shadow wins back some pressure in the middle lane, though Deadbeat is sticking around. So a nice play there, but what it turns out is that the all-in at level 6 from Fizz wasn't enough to pick up a kill.
Yeah, great turnaround. Have the confidence to do that, even though you've been down the entire lane. Just the sheer nerve to know that you can pull something off like that. That just shows you how good of a player some of these people are.
That's right, and it was a good play. Now he's got some help as Shyvana arrives. Deadbeat trying to run away as dashing back through. Shyvana goes over top of him. That's what he wanted to do. No summoner spells. He left, though. Will Shadow go aggressive here? He jumps in and does pick it up. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Prez gets caught a little too deep this time as the teleport play comes in from Irelia, and it's actually 2 kills picked up by Team 7. Very nice work in the middle lane, and Shadow was able to finish that off even though we jumped off screen. So this is the the level 6 ability of Fizz to turn things back around on the Yasuo after being behind early. So it's a very big kill to pick up for him, even though he is down 20 CS.
Alrighty, you're seeing Lucian up 16 CS on the Sivir. You usually don't expect to see Sivir behind and farm, though props to their bottom lane on the side of Space Age Wizards to keep it going strong.
Yeah, this has been a very good farm rate by Lucian, and Prez, that's a testament to the pressure Prez put on, even though he was caught a little deep last time and ended up falling down. I mean, bottom line is Zach's been in the jungle, hasn't provided any of the pressure that Shyvana has, and yet they're doing okay. Actually, thanks to those farm advantages, it's a 500 gold lead for Space Age Wizards, even though they are down a kill. So there were some nice plays, but maybe this one, Shadow goes and pops the shield off of Yasuo. Now jumps in, gonna try to get more, taking some damage, just a trade.
Right, and the ward spots out Shyvana in the river right now.
Windwall barely blocks that Shark in time. If Shark had landed onto Deadbeat, who has no summoners, he very much could have found himself killed by Shadow, but puts up a clutch Windwall just in time to leave the Shark a little short. We
Do
see.
you call that a fish then, if it's a short shark? Sorry, I had to do it.
We are. This was Shark Week, right? So we're on theme.
Oh my god. And
Anyways,
Fizz is walking atop of some blue stuff, so that's pretty cool too, right? Fish in the water, pretty
That's
natural.
anyways, we see Yasuo extend that farm lead to 24 over Fizz, even though Fizz has gone double Doran's ring, Seeker's arm guards to try to provide some armor against Yasuo to help in those trades. So while that has, yielded him some success, he is still very much behind in this middle lane.
Alright, we see Zach charging up.
Here we go. Jumps in. That equalizer used. Tianbo's trying to fight back. Flashes away. Maybe. Flame Spitter is on. Gets the stun. Zach is tanking. If he has his passive, this is going to work out perfectly.
He's good to go.
Not even going to die. Don't even need it. Calculated. Oh, he does need it because he
I was going to say not even close, but here comes Fizz.
Will Fizz be able
over
to
the
finish
wall.
the blobs in time? I don't think he's going. Oh, nice.
Oh, beautiful.
Flash, Shark,
Big.
Overdose Panda
And he
goes
comes
down.
up with it.
Flipsy jumps over a wall, flashes over another, but Siobhan is a dragon. She can fly. Takes him down. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Antonio trying to catch him. Trying to go hard after Prez, who flashes away and waits in a bush, and they kill Sivir. Now Ari Desu in a
Have
bad
you seen
spot.
my bear Tivers?
Oh,
my
yeah,
god.
We're on track for the game we thought we'd have. There are kills all over the map. That was very, very well played by Shadow. We thought, is he going to try to finish these blobs in time? Is he going to maybe get Zach? Rumble's there putting pressure on him. Instead, he just flash Sharks, picks up a kill, knows that he has help from his jungler to kill off Zach, who flew away after he did revive. Very well played overall response to the initial gank from Space Age Wizards.
Yeah, that play by Shadow. I mean, you just described it to him, but I just have to repeat it. That was absolutely beautiful.
It was very good. Now,
Oh,
Poseidon deep
Shyvana
again.
getting chased out of the jungle
Don't
by
think
Rumble.
she's making it out. Flash burn, but doesn't even matter.
Oh,
Flash
a little
used-
unnecessary on Overdose Panda, but worth either way.
Right, yeah, maybe didn't need to flash out to have Flame Spitter going, but does it anyways. Picks up the kill. Now Tianba's in trouble. Equalizer used. It's actually Prez and Overdose Panda up there. Annie all over the map. Irelia trying to run away, tries to come back to get some damage in because he knows he's dead and he does go down.
That yellow star?
All over the map here. So trying to take stock of this game before another fight breaks out. 13 minutes in, it's 6-4 in the favor of Space Age Wizards, who have about a 1,700 gold lead for themselves. We have 2 kills on the Rumble, who's completed his haunting, guys, and is going to very shortly be a monster. And has teleport up if we
Oh,
get a
teleport
dragon
coming
fight.
in on the pink ward.
Yep.
Red side jungle.
Here we go. Here comes Rumble to answer. Exhaust fuse on Irelia. Irelia, though, in trouble. Dashes back to the team, but goes down very quickly. A tower goes to Space Age Wizards. They pick up a kill on Irelia. Didn't have her team with her. Fizz was in the base. That means that it's a wasted teleport, and it's going to be the first strike of the game to Space Age Wizards.
Yeah, they pulled that a little bit early. I'm not sure why. I guess he assumed his bottom lane was collapsing with Shyvana, but they looked like they were hanging back a little farther than Irelia expected, and that gives a BZ Dragon easy tower.
That's right. A lot of advantages being picked up here by Space Age Wizards. Shark goes in, but it lands on Rumble. Is he going to be able to do anything? No, they actually focus on Prez, and they take out Annie. Now the flash aside, he goes back down to Lucian. Desu running away. Flash, jump in. Playful Trickster, not quite tricky enough. Fish goes down. Overdose Panda picking up another kill, now 3-1-3, and what overall is a 2-for-1 more advantages to Space Age Wizards.
And that's the power of Rumble right there. Mid-game team fight, textbook perfect, groups up for the dragon, uses the equalizer, wins fight.
Yeah, you really, and this is a very difficult position that Team 7 finds themselves in 15 minutes into the game. They're down 4,000 gold, which at this point is pretty massive. They're down the dragon, they're down 2 turrets. They have the silver. They're the ones who want a team fight, and yet they are just getting decimated in all of these team fights because Rumble 3-1-3. That's a lot of money and a needlessly large rod picked up for him as well. Now those equalizers are devastating.
Oh, I hope he goes Rylai next. That's just such a fun item to use on Rumble.
That's right.
No
now
one can
Prez,
walk out of the equalizer.
Yeah, no running away here. There may be no running away for Ari Desu, who flashes, but it's going to go down to the last tick of the Ignite. Prez picks it up and traded in the jungle, but it was Demeeble who was able to respond first.
And a little bit late of a heal on Antonio. Maybe he was hoping he would call it.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh,
Shark in the middle lane.
lands.
Oh, just jumping away, though. You see Rumble just completely zoned out Shyvana there with a Flame Spitter, and though Shadow landed the Shark, he wasn't able to follow it up because Overdose Panda would have just burned him to death. Fried fish.
Wait a minute, did I just hear you right? Shyvana is afraid of fire.
Yeah, that's when you know things are going bad for your team. Zach jumps in. Nice spell shoot by Antonio. Not get knocked up, but the tower does fall. Another tower picked up by Space Age Wizards, who are making what we called a weird comp work for them very well right now.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
Oh, look at this. Just the
goodness.
sack. The
Wow.
sack as you burn. You will burn in the equalizer. All
That's
he does
how you
is
know they
block
meant-
the shield.
Serious business. We will use 2 ults for your support.
Yeah. Hey, Ari Desu just cannot find a good space to walk. Gets stunned, gets hopped on, gets equalized. Though this game at this point is not exactly equal. It's a 6,000 gold lead in Space Age Wizards to a really snowballing Rumble out of control as we hit the 17-minute mark of the game.
Oh, we see a little 1v1 going down.
It's
Zach.
Shyvana running away.
Yeah. Zach
That's-
just taking control of the jungle again.
At 115 on Flipsy. I believe in the Zach.
What is it? Zon's Amorphous something? I forget what the C is for.
I'm not sure, but whatever it is, sign me up. Season 3, here we come. Zach Jungle OP. No,
Yeah,
but
maybe it's a testament to Meteos, because he just stopped playing, so I know one of his favorite champions was Zach, so
yeah.
maybe showing him it was still viable, he shouldn't have quit so early.
Whatever it is, it's working, and we've seen some nice individual plays on the side of Team 7, but overall, there's just simply been too much coordination from Space Age Wizards. There's no hesitation, you know. Annie says, hey, I see Nautilus walking in this bush. Well, sure, let's burn 3 ultimates because we know we're just going to pick up a kill and have a 5v4 after that. There's just no hesitation with the team.
You stated that absolutely. The coordination is what's going right for them. It's their bread and butter right now. With a team comp like Rumble, Zach, Annie, Yasuo, absolutely unheard of. Their ults, I mean, Yasuo and Zach have got the synergy between it. Yes, Annie can do the setup, but they don't really match like you normally would think. So the fact that they're able to pull off these difficult combos...
Here goes the fight. Antonio gets committed. Yo, but Deadbeat goes down instantly after that as the charge lands. Zach comes in, gets a knock up on the back line. Very nice, but it's a double kill for Rumble, even though Irelia picks up one. Zach comes in picking up a kill. Now Team Ball's running away from Demeeble, won't make it. Zach finishes it off. Double kill for Flipsy. Now the flash away, but you cannot run from the flames. They will follow you. Overdose Panda 715, absolutely unstoppable on Rumble. And that looked like
Putting
a
on
good
a trial
fight.
by fire.
That's right. It looked like it was going to be a good fight. We saw Deadbeat go in. He got his ultimate off, but then he just instantly died. And you thought, hey, maybe Team 7 has a chance to turn this. But no, Rumble arrives and just completely cleans up that fight. Tower goes down. They're going to likely back to Dragon, which spawns in 15 seconds. Almost a 10,000 gold. We're watching a clinic right in teamwork right now from Space Age Wizards.
I've got out my pen and paper. I hope everyone else watching does too, because this is some good stuff right here. All
That's
right,
right.
Dragon number 2, most likely going to go over, unless they pull the trigger and go in now. That's an easy Dragon.
Yeah, no, not even going to contest it. We'll see. At this point, there's such a giant lead for Space Age Wizards. If you're sitting on the side of Team 7, the way it's very difficult for you to turn this around. You aren't able to win these 5v5s that you want to take, and you're just pressured into your base. You have to hope that there's too aggressive of a play like this could be. Equalizer lands, they shot, Tianba's out. Double kill picked up in Yasuo. Altonio flash heals away.
Oh my
Not
God.
gonna make it. The pile-on triple kill.
Triple!
The pile-on and the triple kill for Deadbeat. He's had a slow start to the game, but he just kicked into high gear right here. Where to next?
Wandering Warrior has found his way.
It's just a question of how they want to best close it out, and as I was saying before that fight broke out, if you are sitting on the side of Team 7, you have to hope that Space Age Wizards get too aggressive, but it didn't even matter right there. They flashed behind towers to pick up kills.
Yeah, and that's a definite sign that you are ahead and confident in your abilities to close this game out. They're not worried about sitting back and trying to scale up, because they know if they do, once Shyvana and Aurelia and Nautilus start getting super tanky, that Fizz hits full build and he's going to be able to one-shot anyone he wants. That's why they're pushing so hard right now. Even if they don't come up with a bunch of objectives, just the fact they keep increasing this goal gap as fast as possible is going to be their way to win this.
Yeah, it's pick your poison, or in this case, pick the way you want to win. So, and the way they look like they may want to do that right now is Baron. They may be vision of this to see if they try to, if Team 7 tries to make the Aurelia.
Altonio didn't get the ward over the wall.
Yeah, that's right. So, no vision, nothing to do, and it's a free Baron, no contest. That'll push the gold lead to 11,000. It's 19-7 for 0 in turrets. This game may not be long for the world. This has been an absolute power plays with this heavy engaged composition by Space Age Wizards. We talked about it was either going to look really good or really bad, and it's looking really good right now.
Yeah, glad to see it working out for him. Oh man, there's been so many close fights. Well, not so many. There's been a few close fights on the side of Team 7 Dusk, and they're able to take out one of the priority targets, but Rumble, Yasuo, Lucian, the triple threat. Hell, Annie's a threat too. She does a fair amount of magic damage, so it's very hard to deal with it, and they're going to have to be extremely well communicated in who they are focusing in the fight.
That's right, and it looks like right now they're just going to end up playing defense. How do Space Age Wizards want to take advantage of their time with Baron here? They have the turret, the inner turret down in the middle lane. They have both available on the side lanes where they have Rumble pushing. Lucian actually picking up blue buff. Yasuo thinking about going aggressive on Tianbaz. Goes for it. Slow goes down, knock up, ultimate, soloed out, solo kill by Deadbeat. Now it's a 4v5 with Baron. This could be a huge push, and where will that push come? Looks like it may be in the middle, where now another catch comes in. Prez actually could be the one in trouble here and does go down. Equalizer comes in, maybe doesn't catch that much beside running away, but just the flame spitter at this point doing a ton. Lucian kills in the back, picks him up a double kill. Now for Demeeble, Shadow running away, gets knocked up, flame spitter comes in, finishes off. All the while, Deadbeat is in the top lane shoving. It's a 4-for-1 with just Prez going down, the sacrificial Annie, and turrets falling all over the map now.
Alrighty, and that's the beauty of having two AD champions. You can push turrets for days. It's so easy. Well, that's a horrible saying. Not for days. You can push them for seconds, because that's how long they last for.
That's right.
Oh, and we're seeing a little bit of some VM champion mastery emotes scam on the side of Overdose and Panda and on Flipsa.
Yeah, I haven't seen those, but they've earned them at this point as they pick up a kill on Silver, they pick up 2 turrets, they pick up 2 inhibitors. 24-8, 15,000 gold lead at 25 minutes. Meanwhile, Overdose Panda does get charged and actually does go down 500 shutdown gold to Fizz. That'll show you for BM. Now to me will flash it away. Fizz jumps in, maybe finishes off. Double kill now for Shadow, picks up another. Oh, we've got the depth charge going down on Deadbeat. Will he try to actually turn it?
Oh, there's no follow-up.
Oh my gosh, so much damage. Now the knock-up, the ultimate is used. Poseidon's pretty tanky, and he has arrived for the stun, the double kill before he goes down. Now Fizz on the backside, trying to take on Prez. Maybe we'll get it, maybe not taking a lot of damage just from Tibbers there. Goes aggressive, jumps in, uses it, actually goes underneath.
That is one mean bear.
Goes underneath Zach, but it doesn't matter, Zach picks it up. Now this duel with Poseidon, trying to finish off the Battle of the Junglers. Double kill for Shyvana.
Dragons, bears, and blobs are by.
That's a lot of fighting right there. We're at 40 kills in 25 minutes, so you know, it was a good job by Team 7 to pick up some kills there on the backside, but they did lose 2 inhibitors. This is still a nearly indefensible position, because I'm sure that after going and spending their money, you will see Space Age Wizards group up in the middle lane and push for what they hope will be the final shove of the game.
Yeah, there's not much you can do, as you just stated, because you got 2 inhibitors pushing you in. Yeah, you might have won the team fight. He came out with a few people left over. They're weak. They got to go back to base. You don't have the map pressure to translate that fight into an objective, so
that's right.
Way to clear.
Overdose Panda, he was on a a non-playmaker necessarily on Maokai last game, and the twisted advances were good, and but it's a point and click. But he gets on Rumble this time and has a chance to show off, and he does so. But also Shadow trying to make some plays on Prez, but it's a bad one.
Oh my gosh!
He tried to make the play on Prez.
No mercy.
Tried to make the play. We actually think that was the first time we've seen somebody other than Yasuo set up his ultimate, as he had some help there. Nautilus goes down. Last inhibitor of the game goes down. Super minions
close your eyes. It is not fit your viewing.
The boss just accepts his fate, stands still, dies.
Oh, on the hunt spawn, but
yeah, Shyvana's turn goes down. They're on the last Nexus turret. So after a really close game 1, we see a very nice turnaround here by Space Age Wizards in a great play for 27 minutes of game 2 to pick up the kill in the series victory here in week 2 over Team 7. Great job by Space Age Gaming in that last game.
Very impressive coordination in the team fights and in the skirmishes. Great communication in the rotations. Damn near flawless execution.
That's right.
So much fun to watch.
Absolutely. Great play on Rumble, 8-2. Yasuo finishes 8-3. All around, I think we use the word clinic, and I think that really describes it well. If you want to see how to take a lead in a game and then close it out, watch a replay of this one. Well played. 2-0 series victory, Space Age Wizards.
Alright, I guess that wraps it up for week 2. Thank you so much for everyone who took time to view us and listen to us today. We really appreciate your support. Alright, have a good night.